a political blood sport. That's just about right.
Elon, a year ago, right now, you were praised by the media. You were championed by the left. Most people in general had a very positive view of you. And a year later...
Wait, is that changed?
No, not a year.
Changed?
Yeah, it's changed a little.
What?
So tell me what the last year has been like for you.
Well, it's not been boring, that's for sure. An eventful year, to say the least. At least I didn't get shot, you know.
Yeah?
Look on the bright side. But we have had people shoot up Tesla stores and burn down Tesla cars. I wasn't expecting that level of violence, really. I mean, there's obviously been attempts to sort of boycott Tesla and my other companies and basically put whatever pressure they possibly...
Again. It's the usual suspects.
Put whatever pressure they possibly can on me and...
It's crazy, right?
And Tesla and to some degree other companies. And I guess that's what happens when you go after waste and fraud, because the people that are receiving the billions of dollars of waste and fraud want to keep receiving it.
I bet they do.
The people doing the bad things want to keep getting the money. And you're necessarily dealing with an unsavory group that is, since they're doing illegal things already and we're stopping them from doing illegal things, obviously they're going to do bad things to me and to my companies.
Well, it would make sense if they're committing illegal acts just on their own. If you try to stop them, it would be logical for them to respond by doing illegal acts also. Of course.
What inevitable, I think.
Yeah, duh.
Do you regret doing what you've been doing? Do you regret coming out and supporting President Trump?
Yes, no. Cut that part.
I hope not.
No, I think it was essential for President Trump to win to ensure that America remained great, and that we reached greater heights. Really, some very basic things need to happen. We need to have, obviously, a secure border. We need to have safe cities. We need to have sensible spending. I think if President Trump had not won, I think the Democrat campaign to import vast numbers of illegal voters would have succeeded. And they would have naturalized vast numbers of illegals during...
That's actually a good point. Is that, like, at a certain point, if you just do enough, if you bring in enough people and then hope that they vote for you, Biden, please let us in. I mean, I'm assuming this is a real photo and it's not AI. I mean, I'm sorry, bro, but not for me. Let us in? Fuck off. Yeah, exactly.
The sort of Kamala regime, and they would have turned America into a one-party state from which we could never escape. Some people out there may be somewhat skeptical. They may think, well, that there isn't some Democrat plan to subvert democracy and achieve a permanent one-party, deep blue socialist state. I assure you, the more you research it, the more you will see it is true. Biden was simply asleep at the switch. He was ineffective regarding illegal immigration. No, he was highly effective at ushering in millions of illegal immigrants.
Yeah, he let it happen. That's the thing. He let it happen the whole time.
100%. With a specific game plan to naturalize them and ensure that there would be no swing states in America anymore. Often the margin of victory there will be 20 or 30,000 votes. So if you bring in 200,000 illegals, which will overwhelmingly vote for the Democrats, then that swing state becomes permanently blue.
Of course. I mean, and this is another thing. This is one of the reasons why I think we need more scammers in government, is because anybody who's a scammer would know this. Of course you would do this. Absolutely.
Then you have the House, the Senate, the presidency.
When did Elon Musk finally say, you know what, I feel like something is really grossly wrong with what's going on in this country?
Well, I started having concerns about 3 years ago, but they were sort of, I just had like an uneasy feeling.
Yeah, it's
like
weird.
Something doesn't feel right here. The censorship was becoming...
How is it debatable? I don't see any counter. The only counters that people like this have is emotional manipulation. Like, as soon as you stop playing the game of emotional manipulation, everything here falls apart.
Ridiculous. Like I could,
The
like
entire thing.
I had the most interacted with account on Twitter before the acquisition. So I was very finely attuned to what the algorithm was showing me or not showing me, and who got suspended or didn't get suspended. Twitter was being run at a very far left basis. When I felt the censorship walls closing in, I was like, okay, I got to do something, and the thing I could do is acquire Twitter and make it a bastion of free speech.
Elon absolutely did pull a 100% gamer move by buying Twitter. I actually think that him buying Twitter was like a watershed moment for free speech and for the entire movement against this type of thinking. It was gigantic. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. It broke the dam. Then now you're seeing all the other social media companies that are following suit. It was the thing.
And that's what we're trying to do with Twitter.
It's worse than
no one on the left has
yeah.
been suspended, but we did unsuspend people on the right, and let the marketplace of ideas win, and
Exactly. Yeah, because people couldn't express themselves and they couldn't disagree with things. That's why left-wing opinions were so popular on Twitter. It's because you had to have them.
Once we unlocked Twitter from being censored, then we started to see what was really going on. And I became increasingly concerned. I'm like, wait a second, I'm seeing...
But he's banning everyone who criticize him? That's not free speech? Are you being serious? Do you really think that Elon Musk is banning everybody who criticizes him? Some of them, yes. Like who? Who got banned? Who was it? You know, maybe one person did get banned. Maybe it did happen. Now, I don't have any evidence of it, but like even if I would easily concede maybe one person got banned. Wouldn't have a single example. He banned some journalists. I don't know the name. I'm from Europe. Okay. Okay. Right.
Videos of people streaming across the border on Twitter, now X.
I know for a few more. I don't know the politician's name. Yeah, you don't know their name because it didn't happen.
And I was like, is this real? So I said, well, I'll go to the border myself. So I went to Eagle Pass, Texas. And sure enough, people streaming across the border. And I was like, so is there any vetting of these people? Like, no, the Biden administration is letting them all in.
So this is 2023?
And I said, well, but some of these people clearly have criminal affiliations. Like they literally have the criminal affiliation tattooed on their face. The left is...
Face tattoos that they're in a gang and they're just letting them in.
kind to the criminals.
Oh my God.
And cruel to the victims. Which is
Yeah, this is the inversion of empathy that hurts so many people. It's this idea that you have to be empathetic to these people that are violent, dangerous people. But the problem is that the cost of that empathy is the safety and well-being of good, innocent people.
Which is not empathy at the end of the day. If you're a high-trust society...
It's not empathy. The reason why these people do it is so they can feel good about themselves. They have no problem sacrificing you or your family to having to deal with like an illegal immigrant gang if they can feel good about themselves for how they voted, so they can feel like they deserve and they're a good person while they're driving around in their $100,000 car drinking Starbucks. It's purely self-serving? Yeah, it's totally self-serving. That's it.
And you bring in low trust or untrustworthy individuals. That's now you've got a fundamental breakdown in the system.
Recipe for disaster.
A recipe for disaster.
So it sounds like for you, you went through these moments of actually seeing things firsthand for yourself. So you had these moments leading up to really coming out on the stage.
What matters is appearances. Yeah, it's all about appearances. That's the only thing it's about.
We're in Butler, Pennsylvania with President Trump.
You just can't have a country like this. I supported Obama. I gave the maximum donation to Obama. Actually, we had a pretty good relationship. When Biden was elected out, I guess most moderates that I knew, they thought it would be
more Obama,
like a milquetoast version of Obama.
Yeah.
And then it's like we get the most radical left, crazy administration ever. with and Biden is actually non-compos mentis. You know, President Autopen, basically. Biden was.
Well, it's obvious he was fucking retarded. Bro, he was mentally AFK for the whole thing. It was obvious. Anybody could see that.
President Autopen. Whoever controlled the Autopen, the teleprompter during the Biden administration, was the real president. If a
puppet
a reasonable
president,
person who's open-minded was exposed to the same information that I was exposed
and it's like
to.
we've had a puppet president before, right? I mean, we had like Eleanor Roosevelt was like basically the president for a while. But like that was fine because it was Eleanor Roosevelt. The issue isn't that we had a puppet president, it's that the people holding the puppet strings were also retarded.
They would end up at the same place that I ended up.
You grew up in South Africa. You lived during a period of apartheid. I'm sure you've seen a lot of horrific things. So to be called a Nazi by people, to be made out to be this monster, that must be really hard for you.
It's a relentless propaganda campaign, which obviously President Trump has experienced for a very long time, 20 years, maybe longer. Politics is a blood sport. So they're going to...
It is what it is.
Come up with whatever attacks they can to destroy the public perception of someone.
Of course. They're just roaches. That's what they do. Now,
obviously, I've not harmed anyone in my life. They've also called President Trump a Nazi, but he also is not a violent person. And in fact has done a lot to prevent wars and stop wars, which is the very opposite of being a Nazi, actually.
Right. Ironic how that works out.
Yes.
Whenever I hear somebody call something like this is a Nazi thing or whatever, it's like a immediate indication to me, oh no, we're dealing with a retard. Oh shit. Oh God.
But it is disappointing.
The moment that somebody invokes Nazi Germany, Hitler, or anything related to that, just immediately discard everything else they're going to say. It's not worth anything.
Well, propaganda works.
Yeah.
If you repeat
Instant
a lie,
disqualifier.
You know, the sort of he's a Nazi lie enough times, some people actually believe it.
Ad Hitler.
Especially people that still believe the legacy news. But they really are trying every angle.
Well, and that's the reason why it's a bunch of stupid old people that are out there that are protesting against Tesla. It's because they believe the legacy news and they think that Elon and Trump are Nazis and they're going to try to make everybody, like a slave or something. That's the reason why it's all old people. It's because they don't understand computers or technology. Trump says everything's computer and they say, oh no, that's the last thing I want. And then they hear all this shit. Yeah, that's what it is.
To get me, they are doing character assassination.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
It shows that if what we were doing at Doge was not effective, they wouldn't care. But it is effective.
That's true. It's a good point.
And that's why they're trying every angle to put pressure on me and Doge to stop fixing the government.
Talk about your relationship with President Trump. You came to DC. People immediately said, oh wait, Elon Musk is in charge of things.
They only said that in order to create division between Elon Musk and Trump because they thought that they could weaponize the two guys' ego against each other and effectively subvert the entire country, which is, in my opinion, if you think about that, you're actively trying to create chaos in the country over a political reason. I mean, even when Biden was the president, I supported Biden as the president. Like, you don't want the president to fail and you don't want things to collapse, but I don't know what to say. Yeah, how dare I call Elon, how dare I call a Nazi salute? Elon did a Nazi salute. I just think that it's so intellectually dishonest, the entire thing about it. You really think that Elon Musk is a legitimate Nazi because he made a hand signal? It's retarded. It's retarded. It's not even worth taking seriously for 3 seconds.
Here. Very clearly, President Trump is.
I do consider the president a friend. I think he considers me a friend. And, we get along very well. I think, probably if you asked us both the same set of questions in 2 different rooms, 80% of the time we'd come up with the same answer. Which is not to say that we always agree, but we almost always agree. Getting rid of waste and fraud in the government, and ensuring the rule of law is followed. We've seen just crazy things.
If it's a hand signal, why don't you do it now? I understand that you think that is a clever way of responding, but I'm going to counter that with this. There are often times where people slur their words, and in slurring their words, they say something that sounds almost like the N-word. Do you think that it would be appropriate for me to repeat that slur in a way that makes it sound like it's the N-word? You're conflating speech with a physical action. If you believe what is and isn't what we think it is, why don't you just do it now? So you didn't answer my question. Why would I repeat something that I know would be interpreted as a Nazi salute? In the same way that why would I repeat something that sounds like the N-word? Why would I do that? I can understand a mistake, sure. And also speech, both of these things are just actions. You won't do it because it's a Nazi salute. It's pretty straightforward. Do you think that I would repeat a person's... do you think that I would repeat the way that a person slurred their words and it sounded like the N-word? Do you think that I would repeat that? Just answer the question. It's a very simple question. No, because you know it's the N-word. It's the same reason why you don't do the salute. So if I know it's the N-word, do you think that people should get banned for slurring their words? You're untimed out. Do you think people should get banned for slurring their words and accidentally saying the N-word? Or saying something that sounds just like the N-word? Do you think they should get banned for that? You're currently, yes or no? A clear action has, so you're saying the N-word doesn't have historical context? Let me repeat my question. Maybe you didn't hear it. Do you think somebody who slurs their words and accidentally says something that sounds exactly like the N-word should be banned as if they said the N-word? It's very simple, yes or no. You better not be typing out sentences. Please do not be typing out sentences. What's the context of the slurring? Ian's action clearly was a Nazi salute. It wasn't a random arm movement. Yeah, and somebody's words could clearly be the N-word if they are slurred in a certain way. There's a lot of different two words you can put together that would sound like the N-word. Like the word knee and then something else. It's like 50 of them. I can think of like 10 immediately. Should somebody be banned for slurring their words and saying something that sounds identical to the N-word? Very simple question. So do the action if it's innocent. Why don't you do it? It's very simple. So did you know that Steve Bannon also did the Nazi salute as well? The Elon, like my heart goes out to you salute. Did you see me defend Steve Bannon? No, I didn't. I didn't defend Steve Bannon because Steve Bannon did it consciously and he did it on purpose. The only reason I'm defending Elon is because I don't think that it was intentional and I don't think that it was done with the intent of it being a Nazi salute. The reason why you won't answer my question is that you know that it's an absolutely ridiculous conclusion to come to, that somebody who slurs their words should be banned as if they said the N-word. But in concluding that and conceding that fact, you would have to acknowledge that intent matters. And if the intent matters in slurring your words, then the intent would also matter in doing the salute. And if the intent mattered with doing the salute, me doing the salute to mimic Elon would be in the context of it being a Nazi salute, whereas Elon doing the salute would not be in the context of it being a Nazi salute. It would just be him making a mistake. So this is the reason why you're not answering the question. You're not stupid. You're just disingenuous. That's why I asked you this. That's why you won't answer the question. Is because it exposes your thinking. It's just stupid. It's sad to see. Why waste time explaining it to a dumb chatter? Because I thought it was a good opportunity to talk about it. Yeah, it was a good opportunity because I hear that statement said a lot, and I thought it was a good opportunity to talk about the topic. Yeah, that's the reason why. It's a teaching moment, exactly. Isn't there a 2-minute long video of Democrats doing the same hand motion? Yeah, no, it's longer than 2 minutes, though. But you can see, and this is the reason why I don't debate people and do this stuff. It's because most people do not engage in honest conversation. That's the reason why. They're liars. They're disingenuous liars because they're afraid of the truth.
It's like the 20 million dead people in the Social Security database marked as alive, many of whom were receiving benefits. One person was 360 years old.
Wow, older than the country.
I think that would be a bit of a red flag, you know. They're older than America, you know, we found people receiving unemployment insurance with a birth date in the future. We found at the Small Business Administration that they were giving out loans to people as young as 9 months. So we're stopping things like that. We've actually found there's a lot of people who are federal government employees, they're active employees who nonetheless applied for and have received unemployment insurance.
Oh yeah, this was actually common practice at the IRS. Is people that worked seasonally would try to get unemployment while they were working there. Yeah.
While they're federal employees.
What? Yeah. Yep. It wasn't a big thing in my department, but it was in my dad's. And especially whenever they weren't working because it was a seasonal job.
Yes.
Wow.
And this appears to be at least 100,000 people.
Wow. We know that you're finding all of this, but you're actually also simultaneously running several companies. What else are you doing, and how are you doing it, and where are you doing it? Are you sleeping? Are you traveling all the time?
This is a very difficult, that's why I made that sort of I'm wearing many hats joke. The cabinet was given the Gulf of America hat, I believe it was. So you see all the hats there, and then I happen to have a Doge hat.
Gulf of America hat too.
I'll put a hat on a hat and prove to people that I'm wearing more than...
You really are.
I am wearing more than one hat. Even my hat has a hat. So it requires intense effort for, like I said, for about 3 months, which we're kind of at the 3-month point now. And then I can taper my time allocation, but still get things done. So, and I've talked this over with the president, so this is no surprise, or
if anyone knows about multitasking and getting a lot done, it's him.
Absolutely. He's very good at multitasking and getting a lot done in many different arenas. I also still have my little office, my cute little office in the West Wing, by the way. It's like comically small. People have taken photos of it and stuff.
Is this fine? I'm surprised there's not more drinks on the desk. That's the only thing, like, because, like, the thing is for me, like, this is one thing, I don't know why Elon doesn't have this set up. Like, you got to get, like, another table right here so you can put all the drinks on this table. You don't have to get up as much, and that way you don't have them getting in the way of the monitor. Like, I got that L-shaped desk, bro, that shit changed my life.
But I wanted it to be tiny. And even this office I use, but it's also used for meetings and stuff, so I try not to, you know, use up a lot of space. In fact, I usually don't even have at my companies, I don't even have an office. I just walk around, talk to people, and have meetings.
That's how you know what's going on.
Yes, that's how you know what's going on.
Now, very famously, there was a story about you when you first came to DC, that you slept on a couch in your office. This is where the richest man in the world slept.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Why did you do that?
Well, I didn't really have a good place to stay at the time.
Wow. How long did you do that?
For off and on for a few weeks.
That's incredible.
Honestly, I don't know how he did that shit. Like, bro, like, if I sleep on a leather couch, I sweat like crazy. Like, you have to put, like, a blanket under it. Like, because that's the thing, because I think about that, and I'm like, yeah, it's like, it's sticky and shit, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah,
maybe he likes it. I don't know.
No worse places to sleep.
It's nasty, bro. Like, yeah.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here.
So yeah, I mean, I think honestly, like, thank fucking God. Like, I really hope that they do prosecute a lot of those people. That's what I'm waiting on. Like, until we get the prosecutions, I'm like kind of, you know, lukewarm about a lot of this stuff. Like, I've definitely, like, it's important to get rid of the money. But, like, the thing is that if you really want to make a, like, you know, a tangible impact, you have to hold people accountable. And when you hold people accountable, then other people are like, oh, shit, like, I don't want to do that now, right? Yeah, he hired a Chinese guy to sleep on the couch so he could play PoE 2. That must be it, man. Yeah, absolutely.